So I'll stop on the political stuff. I have plausible deniability. Anyway, so what I want to talk about today with you guys is super class, or a class, a parent class, a child class, and then instantiation in another class even. And so it's like, let's just say we're building a house. And again, I've got, what you got here is like 3 different people, 4 different people possibly, where the first guy is the architect. So he's going to create some rules that the builder's going to build into the program or build into the house. Then you got the builder who's building the house, and he says, wait a minute, we need to add these couple things to the house, okay? And then, of course, then we have the user that's going to, or the application person who's going to write an application using living or whatever in the house or whatever. But there's several steps, could be done by different people. Again, it has to do with reusability. It has to do with control, okay? The people that are writing the classes that we're going to instantiate from have a certain amount of control on how the data is going to be gotten and stored and what kind of data we're going to store. So with that, the actual programmer at the end is limited per se to certain properties or attributes and things like that. Not that they can't add to them. However, today we're also I'm going to loosen the ones we did before. I had it where the data checking was done by the person writing the class. Today, we're going to use the sets and leave them public so that the programmer can use them to input the data from his program. So that's kind of where I'm headed on this one. I'm reaching over. I got my coffee's down here. I didn't have time to run to Starbucks this morning, so I do have the Starbucks glass.
There you go. I actually just got back home from my shift.
Oh, you got the early? Are you the early bird?
Oh yeah. So I opened the store this morning and was off at 9:30.
What time are you guys opening?
We're opening at 6, so we get there at 5:30.
Yeah, that's
pretty. It's not too bad because I mean, like, they just made me an opener. I was a closer a little bit before, like a couple weeks before the quarantine, and then they had me opening.
Setter and a getter.
Yeah, pretty much. I was setting at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we used to open at 5, and then they made it 5:30. I don't know what the big difference is, but now I think we're 8 to 4, just. So, or 7 to 4, something like that. And so, any questions on, well, you're going to see how it goes. And these are the kind of the first steps, I think. Knowing what a list is and stuff like that is going to help you going into Java 2. But instantiating from another class is going to be big. And then you're going to have data structures that Professor Al-Hashimi will go over with you. All right, so let's get started here. I'm going to start sharing. If you don't know, I still don't have my computer back, so I'm using a one from ICC, and I don't know how to use a touchpad because I use the thumb thing in the middle of my keyboard. So what's happened in the last couple of days is my hands literally on this keyboard or on this computer my hand is bigger than half the keyboard or half the computer. So I keep bumping the key, so you'll see, I tried to turn off the sensitivity this morning, so I'm hoping that's going to help, but it'll also slow me down a little bit. So let's go ahead and create a new project. And it's a Java app. Oh yeah, I had to install all this software myself. So now I feel bad for you guys when you have to put Java and NetBeans on your computer, because that's the longest amount of time. It used to be seamless. When before Oracle took over NetBeans, all you did, you went to one place, you clicked the button and installed both of them. You know, and of course now you have to install, I call mine Quack and Tag. Quack car rental. I did tell you Miss Quackenbush is a real person, right?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, yeah, she is. She's a school teacher. She's retired now, but
Did she own a car rental business?
no. It's always, my daughter thinks it's funny because my daughter worked in the same school with her, and she always used to mention, and all my kids, grandkids had her. And so I always use Miss Quackenbush or at me in my daughter gets a kick out of it, so it's fun. So hoping you guys got a lot out of this course. And again, you know, when I first started learning to program, I learned one language, and all the other languages that I know have come from that. I don't, I think personally I could learn any language just because I know the logic behind it. And I think if you know the logic behind a loop, and you know, there's 4 parts to a loop, and how the difference between if and if else and for next loops and that, all the languages have the same thing. There's so little, you know, some the syntax, the syntax is different, of course, but as far as a lot of the other stuff, it's pretty much the same.
Honestly, I didn't really know a lot about programming going into it, like at all, but I think it's a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about programming either.
And now you never want to be a programmer. I'm just kidding. People either like it or hate it. I mean, it's not for everybody. You know, I tell people, you know, why do you want to do this? And if they say, well, my parents think I should. Yeah, okay.
Well, for this, I kind of just did it for a hobby thing because I'm not going to go into programming as a job, but I wanted to know how to do a simple bit of it.
Yeah.
So,
Hey.
and I've accomplished what I wanted with this class.
That's
My my uncle was a programmer in the Army, and then he started working for Raytheon and did a lot of stuff with like missile systems and stuff like that. And like he would tell me about just like programming in general and how it works, and I always thought it was fascinating. Like I probably won't use it for missiles and stuff, but
well, I think if people look at it, you know, again, most of you guys play video games and stuff like that. If you're really into something like that, and if you can transfer that over here and like say, I want to solve a problem, I'm going to use this to solve a problem. And it's almost like a game, you know, where I'm going to solve this thing, and if I do this, it'll make it better, and da 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 da. And you know, I just think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and plus on top of that, like this, like just this course alone really puts a lot of perspective into how much work and coding goes into like even just like making a video game.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I started looking up like just kind of like the basis for like what code looks like for a video game, and it's just kind of like even for just like the 8-bit, you know, like 2D games of like Super
Right.
Mario and stuff, it was kind of nuts. So like imagining like, oh, this game where everyone looks hyper realistic and you know it's like they have like
Oh, you're
shadows.
talking millions of lines of code.
Oh yeah, it's insane. So like it really just this class alone put a lot of perspective into that.
If you ever want to play with Pygame, it's a lot of fun to create your own little two-person shooters or single shooter or whatever it is. Okay, so we're going to leave this just like this, okay, for now. We're going to go up here and we're going to add a file, and it's a class. And let's see, next. And I'm going to call it vehicle. Hit finish. And you should have something like this. You won't have a main. Okay. You won't have a main. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and copy that top and just paste it in here. So go over here, copy your heading, your comments. Oops. So I think they're going to put a new hard drive in a solid state hard drive in my computer. I don't know. They called me yesterday and asked for my password. I said, well, then you can get to all my porn, you know? No.
You were like, just don't click on the file that says schoolwork on the desktop.
Yeah, that's the bad one, yeah. It's the one where I got all my Bitcoin saved, right?
Hey, that might be where the problem's coming from.
The dark net.
Oh gosh, I'm glad we got this part in the recording.
Yeah, I probably got a picture of Darth Vader in my recording.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where we're gonna start at. This is like your grandparents, okay? And you're gonna inherit things from your grandparent. So inside here, we're gonna start with and I'm gonna just say private. What is the make? So I'm gonna say the string is the make. And then what type is it? You'll notice we don't have as many people today because some people like Nolan came the other night and did this already. So I told him you didn't have to stay. Excuse me. And private. Motor. I think I'll make that a double. We're going to do the motor and liters. So like a Mustang's a 5.0. 6-cylinders are usually like a 3.6, stuff like that. So we'll make those in liters. And then we're going to actually put how many tire or wheels does it have. So that'll be it. Because I might want to eventually, I'm not going to do it today, but I could use this to instantiate motorcycles or even a bicycle. I could make the motor, I could say 0 or something like that, or change it. I could override it and put that it's human or solar, things like that. Okay. All right, so then we need a constructor of some type. And I'm not going to make, in this one, I am not going to have a default. So I'm going to say, this is going to say string. Same thing I have up at the top. And again, trying to tell you why this works like this, I know can be confusing in that I'm reusing variable name. And one of my rules usually is don't do that, okay? There's no reason in fact, that I couldn't make these up here, M_make, M_type, and bring them down here. And then I don't have to use the this keyword. Okay. I'll show you what happens here. If I just say make, and say I want to make this value here, whatever the user fills this in with, okay, is equal to make, that'll never happen. Because if I click on this here, you can see these three are the same now. They have the same scope. They're only good inside of, from this brace to this brace. Can't use them anyplace else. This is a completely different variable up here. So it will never have that value of what this is, what I really want to save. Why am I showing you it this way then? Why don't you just change the names up here, Doug? Because you're gonna, when you go out in the real world, or if you were to look in a programming book, they're gonna do it this way, even if it's a bad idea. To fix it, I just need to put this in front of that. Now you'll notice that this one here is lit up and this one here is lit up because they're the same. If you click on this one here, and this one here is the same. So whatever I'm getting from the user here as an argument into this parameter is being assigned to this, and then it comes over here and that's assigned to this and is saved up here. Is that clear at all?
Yeah, it's making sense.
Okay. Type, we're just going to say, is it a truck, a car, a motorcycle, a moto car, something like that. I did look at a 3-wheel Snyder car the other day. I was thinking about buying.
Ooh, how much was it going for?
$3,000.
Not bad.
No, and it was pretty cool, but I'm too worried about where the economy is going to go to pull the money out of the bank right now. In other words, I'm cheap.
Or frugal.
Yeah.
It's okay to be cheap, Doug.
I spend all my money on restaurants.
And Starbucks.
Yeah, and Starbucks. You know, it really, my whole Starbucks thing is, you know, where else can I go drink coffee for 3 hours a day for $2.16?
Right. And then you get like free refills.
And well, that's what I'm saying. It costs me $2.16, and I drink coffee until it's coming out of my ears, right?
Right.
Wait, you get free refills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go to Starbucks,
You have a gold
you get
card.
free refills on coffee, hot coffee, iced coffee, hot tea, and iced tea. Espresso drinks, frappuccinos, like cold brew, stuff like that. Yeah, you do have to
Pay.
Right.
buy another
That
one.
makes
But
sense.
But
Oh,
the
no.
scenario is if you have a gold card, on top of everything else, the free refills and birthday and everything else, you earn points. For every dollar I spend, I earn points, and then I get other free stuff.
you get 2 points a dollar.
Yeah. So, you know, every time I spend a few bucks, then I get, you know,
It's pretty fantastic.
yeah.
I love reward systems like that. That's fun.
But my big thing is, you know, I don't drink, I don't smoke anymore. I don't do those. I don't go out and do crazy stuff.
Don't drink, don't smoke.
If going to Starbucks is my biggest vice, I figure I'm pretty cool.
Right? Yeah. And people are always like, oh, Dunkin's way better. And it's like, how? Like, I've tried Dunkin' coffee, and it's just not good.
I don't know. I think McDonald's coffee is decent. I really do, believe it or not.
I probably wouldn't ever try McDonald's coffee. I don't expect it to be anything that great.
Their hot coffee is bad. I do Dunkin'. I do Dunkin' in the afternoon because it's iced. I get iced decaf. And the reason I go there is I get the huge iced decaf. It lasts me a couple hours, and it costs me $2 and something or whatever. But You know, I can't be without coffee for more than an hour.
Scary.
It is scary, it really is. Okay, so we've got our variables now. So what do we need?
Good question.
We need a way to put values in there, right?
Or get it.
And to get values out of there.
Need our sets and gets.
I need my sets and gets. Yeah, there's setters and getters. So right below this brace here, I'm going to go ahead and go to instant code. And believe it or not, I never used to know that the program did this. And I always made the students type these in. So look at how lucky you guys are. I'm just going to click
Type in
generate.
the chat.
Over the years, see, I'm helping you guys. And really, since we're initializing doing this, we really, our setters here are, you know, well, I guess we are going to use them later. But that's it.
Could you show me how to do that again? How you got
Sure.
all those?
Yeah. So you're going to go right underneath your constructor here and right click right underneath that brace. Put your mouse, put your pointer right there. Okay. Make sure
Yeah.
you're top, and then right click and just go setters and getters. You got it?
No.
Wait a minute. You right click. Hang on a second. Cheryl, I thought you left. Oh, just wondering. No reason. Okay, the students say bye.
Hi, Cheryl. Bye, Cheryl.
Bye.
Cheryl's my third wife, if you didn't know that.
I thought you left exits out of schoolwork file.
And once you do it, watch this. You know, we already put them in, and there's no longer any of them. You can't make a mistake and put them in twice. Did you get yours? Who was that?
Yeah, I got them.
All right. So we're done with this right now. So let's just say, okay.
Question.
Yeah.
In the getters, the parentheses are empty, but in the setters, it carries down the.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So why?
Because how am I going to set this from outside this program if I cannot enter an argument to fill this parameter? How's it going to get here?
So that comes over from main
It can, yes.
or from another.
Wherever I instantiate it from, yes. And that's why it's public right now. The other day we knocked these out. Remember, we made them private?
Yes, that's why I was.
Okay. But then what we had to do is we had to put it up here and say we called them from when we tried to instantiate the vehicle. Okay. It would call down here, and the only way to get to the setters was through this constructor. Okay. Now we can get to these we don't have to do the constructor. We'll be able to get to these. But I have to have a way to send it, like up here, when we call this, if we want to set the make right away, we can do that. Or now, if we want to change it later on, I'm able to do that because I can call this, it's public, and say, I want to set make to something else. And then whatever's in here goes to here, which goes up to the top.
What do you mean by setting it to something else?
Well, let's say that when I do this, like I'm going to instantiate some vehicle with nothing in here to fill these in. In other words, the make's going to be empty, the type will be empty, this will be 0, and this will be 0. And then later on in the program, I'm going to set the make and set the type and set the motor and wheels. In the gets, I don't need anything because all it's doing is returning this modular variable to wherever I call it from. So all it needs is a return, and you notice it has a data type.
Mm-hmm.
That's our void, because the only thing it needs to know is what is the argument type right here. You'll see. Okay, we're ready to add another file.
Oh.
This one is another class. And we're just going to call it car. And usually something you should know too is usually when you instantiate or you create a class, it's usually book title capitalization. Noun, right? I'm going to create a car. I'm going to create a vehicle. I'm going to create a person. I'm going to create a computer. I'm going to create a tractor, whatever. Usually the first letter is capitalized, okay? Over here, I think I still have this saved. Let's see if I can. There we go. And this one will just be car Java. Oh, I forgot. We need to go back in the other one and change this. So that's going to fix that one. And then in our vehicle one, we should change that. Something to that effect. All right, so now we're back over here. We got our car. And our car, the term we use is extends. And it's just vehicle.
Now, what does this do?
This allows us to extend vehicle. That should be fine. I got this the other day too.
I think we just have to type something in it.
Yeah, it needs the constructor. So
But what does the extends vehicle do?
it's like you inheriting the color of your hair from your grandparent or parents, or your blood type, or the color of your eyes, or whatever. So think of this: car inherits from a vehicle. So it can use, cars will have all the attributes of the vehicle. So when I do that, it already has a name, it has a type, it has, I don't have to declare those here. Those variables are already, or those attributes are already established. Yes, no?
Sometimes.
Well, again, did you inherit anything from your parents?
Right. Like my hair color from my mom.
Yeah. So here, the car is inheriting the make, the type, the motor, and the number of wheels from its parents.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about that. Okay. But let's say we want to add two things. Let's say we're going to go ahead and add a private string color. And we're also going to add mileage. So in other words, things that you've done for yourself that you didn't inherit from your parents, right?
I have a question.
Yeah,
How come your public class is
because I don't
underlined?
have a constructor yet.
Oh, because mine isn't underlined.
Yeah, I don't know. This happened to me the other day. Let's see if I put a constructor in, if in fact it goes away. Okay, so we had, what did we have? We had a string make. We had string type. We had
Motor.
motor. And we had int wheels. And now we have color, string color, and we have int mileage. Oh, what's going on now?
I think it's the same thing. There's just nothing in there yet.
Yeah. So I have to do the first thing that I need to do in there is to put my super in there. So it's super. It'll be make model or make type motor and wheels only.
So if mine doesn't have those underlined, that's technically a problem, isn't it?
Nope.
Because,
Uh,
well, I mean, if it doesn't have the right stuff,
yeah, that's possible. Well, don't worry about it until you get a red line.
okay.
I don't know what to tell you if it's working.
I don't know. I just think it's weird because right
Yeah.
now our code looks the same and some things are underlined and some aren't.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
So
Just making sure.
Okay.
is
So we
super a keyword then, or have we just created another variable?
nope. The keyword. Notice it isn't a variable. There's nothing assigned to it.
Okay.
So it's just talking about the vehicle. Refers to the vehicle. So now we need a this color is equal to color, and this what was it? Mileage is equal to mileage, and that should.
Does it need to be inside the parentheses with super or
Yeah,
inside
it
the curly
does.
brace?
Yep. Tab there. Okay, what's going on here? Private. Okay, Doug, what do you got wrong here?
Try saving it real quick because mine was given errors on
Yeah.
lines that didn't even have stuff.
There it goes.
Yeah, it's just being weird.
Telling you.
Yeah, mine had like 23, 24 was like error, and I was like, error with what? There's nothing there.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are again. So we've got our constructor, right?
Hmm.
And we're going to go right. Oops. get your cursor underneath there, right click, insert code and setters and getters, and you'll see you only have two. And go ahead and generate those. Now you got your setters and getters here for color and mileage. Everybody good?
I'm good.
All right, one other thing we're going to add is public. It's going to yell at us at first. And it'll say, I need to override this. It should. Just go ahead and add it. So it looks like that. And then we're going to do message. I think we'll do this. Trying to get a space in there so they're not right up against each other. What do I call it? Motor or engine?
Motor.
Yeah. That's really a miss. Motors are electric and engines are what you call it, gasoline, but we'll just say motor.
Combustible.
Yeah. So the override, it comes from the the super class, okay? Out there somewhere in programming world, there is a class that is the class of all classes. Oh, stop. Let's see. What did I do here? I don't need that. There we go. That class has the basics that how you can write a program class. Okay. In other words, it's the parent of all parents of class.
Why did you get rid of the parentheses?
Because I don't need them.
Oh, wait, what's the difference?
Just a string.
Okay.
So I didn't really need them. It's not like it's a print statement or anything.
Okay. Noted.
So one of the functions of or procedures of that superclass is toString, okay? And I mean, it's why when we type in a number into and try and print it or whatever, it says, wait a minute, we can't do that. It has to be a string. So you have to add toString on the end of it. Okay. So this overrides that. And you'll see later on in our next, the next class, the main class, that in fact, we're going to use this to print out what we want in this format by just saying toString. So where's everybody at?
What's the purpose of override
I just said that.
with the toString?
Yeah, it's overriding toString. The toString that comes with Java, okay,
I thought you said that came from super.
well, it does in Java. Okay, the class of all classes has a method called toString. And instead of using it, we're going to override it with ours that we wrote right here. So I get to use the same name right here. So I'm overriding this name or this method and creating this down here instead. And again, it's a matter of control, right? Because I'm going to, by using this, I'm going to control what my output's going to, or the person after me's output's going to look like. Unless they override mine. All right, we're ready to go back to our car rental. And I need to import a scanner here. And then I will instantiate a scanner right here. So you should have your scanner. And now I am going to do this. Let's say myRide is equal to a new car. Oops. That isn't what I want. I'm going to say car, and it's an array, and then I'm just going to call it myRide. After I do that, I'm going to create 7 of them. I'm going to say
So
myRide.
car myRide creates the variable array called
It just,
myRide.
yeah, with nothing, it's just names. It gives myRide a type. It just gives myRide a type. It's type car. Now I'm going to actually create, let's just create 2 of them. Cars. Our company's just getting off the ground. So very similar. Again, when we were creating arrays before, we just put it all in one. This kind of splits it up a little bit. Okay. So in other words, I could put car, myRide is equal to new car 2. Be the same thing. This is just another way, so you've seen it, you can't say you haven't seen it, of ways people declare an array. This is an array of objects. Instead of an array of a data type. This is an array of an object. And we'll do this and go to 0. And then while count is less than myRide. Oops. Again, making that in generic versus putting a 2 in there. That way, if I ever want to make more cars, I could just add, make this 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have to change the code down here. And so myRide count is now I'm gonna instantiate them. I haven't instantiated anything yet. Okay, is equal to a new car. And I'm gonna put in make type what's next?
Motor.
Motor. So that's going to be we'll try. And then wheels will be 0. And then color will be another string. And then the mileage will be 0.
So this instantiates a new object, car.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it already knows that there's an array out there, but this actually fills in that. Okay. It's taking what we did here and putting values in it. If you don't do it this way, if you don't do this 2-step, this and this with an array, it won't work. Okay, so now system So we're going to say print enter the make of the. We'll just keep them short. Enter the make. And then we're going to just say this. We're going to say myRide count dot set make. And then it'll be my scan dot next. So now you can see we're going to use those sets over there in the car to fill in our data. But in reality, where's this set make at? It's going through car, but where is it initialized, or where is it really at?
Coming from the vehicle. Java.
Yeah, the vehicle. It just so happens our car inherited it though. So we can do that. And by type, again, I mean, is it if I wanted to, I can make that more user-friendly. I'm not too worried about it right now. And give them like 3 choices: is it a car, a truck, or a motorcycle, or something like that.
You typed out my scan wrong.
I see that. Thank you.
Mhm.
then just in case for grammar's sake, and the number of wheels, did you want a space after that colon? Just so later
Yep.
it looks like.
I did. And I'm going to go ahead and place that like that. Then I'm going to do this here, I think. And I might not normally put that here. I might put it in the loop, but we'll just for right now, I'll stop it. My dog is dreaming. I don't know if you can hear her barking. She's laying on the floor here, barking at something, but she's sound asleep.
Good dream.
Has your dog ever run into a wall, like running in their sleep? Or
Oh yeah, all the time.
I don't know why, but it's so funny when that happens. And they're like, "Oh, what happened?"
Yeah. Okay, so let's save that. I'll run mine first so you can see what it looks like if it works. I could use the space there, huh? What happened there, Mike? I thought I made it. Oh, I know what happened. This is going to crash. Right here. Count plus plus. There we go. That's better. I was wondering why it was keep going.
So I actually have a quick question. So for my make, set type, set motor, set wheels for like in the Quack car rental part,
Yeah.
everything looks good except for like where it says I set make, set type. It says cannot find symbol, method, set make, string, location, class, car. So do you mind showing me the car.java just to make sure I've got everything
We
squared away?
will. Let me just run this real quick and make sure mine's working. And
No problem.
and you can see that's what it prints up. So it is working. Oh, that's my. All right. So do you want to show us yours or you want to look at mine first?
Let me go ahead and look at yours first.
What do you want to look at? Car?
Yeah, because it says because like the color and the mileage are both looking good, but for set wheels, motor type, make, it literally just says cannot find symbol, method, set wheels, integer, location.
Yeah,
class,
this
color.
line.
Let me see if that's. Yeah, I have the make, type, motor, wheels in the super.
Okay.
And you have all your variables in the public car too, right? Just in case. So the make, type, and then the added color and mileage.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Okay. So, and these don't light up, or they're not red or anything.
Nope, they're all everything's looking good on this on the car.
Okay.
Java.
How about here?
Let me look here. Yeah, everything in vehicles looking good.
Okay.
Oh wait, here we go. It says method set motor is not used. It says that for all the sets. I don't know if that's
Okay. I'm going to let you share yours because it's,
okay. Yeah. Host disabled attendee screen sharing.
oh, sorry. That just means I didn't really want to look at it, but I will.
It's okay, I understand.
When he's done, mine, instead of like finishing the program or whatever, it just makes me repeat all of the questions again.
Hmm.
All right, so you can see mine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, I know. Go over to your car again.
okay.
That looks good. I thought I knew what it was, but it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, go back to run a rec or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Car.
And I tried like saving it to see if maybe it was just messing up, but
Yeah. Set make count.
Has to be under vehicle.
Yeah, it's those four. Go back to vehicle. Oh, why did you change all your sets to private?
There you go.
oh yeah, that's probably it. I got ahead of myself.
Nope, you're missing a space.
Whoops. There we go.
Okay, save it and run it now.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
You're just missing your display, your output lines, the two output lines underneath the.
Oh yeah.
output
Yeah.
button.
Go ahead and unshare, or there you go. And I'm not forgetting you, Katie. You need these two lines.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Katie.
All right, hold on. And everything looks fine to me, but when
Yeah, go over to your car. Well, one thing I want you to do, it's not the problem, but go right after get mileage, at the last line,
this?
down at the bottom. Put
Okay.
a slash in and add the slash in there too.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
And are those braces or,
These,
yeah.
the parentheses.
Oh, okay. Your stuff's so small on my screen, I can't tell. La 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 la. You got your override. That looks good. String message. Da, da, da. Looks good. So why string, two string? Okay, let's go back to your the program itself. Put your mouse over it. Put your mouse over the red line. What does it
Oh,
say?
it's not a red line. It's a box. It does that whenever I do print.
Oh, just hit enter.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay, it's gone.
And save.
Yeah. And
But yeah, in your while loop, you'll want that count too, because otherwise it won't ever
oh yeah,
increase
you're
that
missing
value.
the count. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
Count plus plus.
after
Oh, down.
up after myRide count set mileage.
Yeah, so it's inside that while loop at the end.
I'm sorry,
so
what?
Go up
Right
3 lines.
Where you're not where your
Are you-
cursor's
oh,
at,
you're
but
talking about
yeah, there
here.
you go. Yep.
Nope, up above that brace.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. Count plus plus. There you go. That's
Alright.
it. Run it. We'll be good.
All right, I don't know cars. I did also notice. Oh wait, no, it's still doing it.
It'll run
No,
twice.
it's supposed
'cause
to.
you have
It's supposed to
two
run
Wait, it
cars.
runs twice?
Yeah, because
because you have 2 cars.
Oh, right. Really hope that's
Big engine.
not what the problem was. Otherwise, this was for nothing.
No, it was. You also needed that count plus plus.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Yeah, because otherwise it'll just keep going through the loop because there's nothing to
No, it
change
won't.
that.
It'll crash.
Oh, is it crash? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
As soon as you get an index bigger than 1, we only had 2, 0 and 1. One you put in would be 2, and it would crash at that point. If you understand what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it fills it up.
Yep. All right. So what do you guys think? Everybody got one that runs?
I think you make it seem simple, and then when I go to do the assignment, it's much more complex.
Yeah,
Oh,
same.
Oh, no, it isn't.
I
But
mean, it's much easier to have a guide.
yeah.
That's a perfect way to say it.
Yeah. So that's the one homework assignment. Now you could go back in. Let's do this real quick since we have time. I'm going to write a custom code outside this, and you should be already ready to write this, be able to anyway. Let's just go and make this private. All right, so let's see, what am I going to do? Hang on, I'm getting a. Let's not do that. Let's make it just MSG. Monosodium glutamate. No. Everybody got it? Okay. So this is the message. So we're just going to call. I think here. This will be oops.
Should that just be MSG?
No. We need it right here. Because it's not the same variable. These anymore. What did I call integer? I spelled it out, I think. Oh, come on. What's going on here? Non-static. Oh. I'll put static in down here as this class. And then take this again. This will be mileage this time is all. So I declared string message up here. So down here, you just need message. So now if I run it, I type Mustang, type is auto, motor style 5.9, who cares? Number of wheels, oh, I type A, okay, no, that won't work. It's fine, color's red, Enter the mileage. I type A. It says that's not valid. There you go. So now it checks for integers for those. But if you remember in the one we did the other day, I coded that into the class. So the programmer didn't have to deal with the validations. I already had those built in, right? Yes, Doug, that's what happened.
Yes, Doug, that's what happened.
Then I'm going to go ahead and take this, Control C it, come down a couple, Control V it, and this will be validate double, or valid double, and this will be double.
Could you slow down for a second? Sorry, but for some reason the myRide count set wheels up more. It doesn't work for me.
Where
Like the down
right here.
at the enter, yeah, the number of wheels and the mileage. It says
Maybe.
it's a non-static method, and it
Yeah.
can't.
You have to add the word static right here,
Okay. Where is that?
down in the valid integer.
Okay. Okay.
I thought you caught that when I did it.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
And then you added the valid double thing.
Yeah, I just copied the integer, and now I'm going through and changing everything so that it's
Okay.
for a double.
All right. Thank you.
It needs to be double num equal.
All right. Yep.
And then in the header, private static double, valid double, right?
Yep. Thank you.
Do I want Chipotle for lunch?
I don't know. Are you gonna have it delivered to my house too?
Sure, why not?
I
I have the app.
think I don't know what I'm having. What did I have for dinner last night? I don't even remember. I'm trying to, we've been cooking a lot at home, but we are also spending money to go to our, restaurants that we like, try and keep them busy. So, and then I buy enough to have leftovers the next day for lunch. So I'm sure what I had for dinner last night, I'm also having for lunch today.
Gosh, that guy on his DUI bike is so cool outside. I don't know if you can hear that.
Oh, he's got a DUI bike?
Yeah,
Doesn't really sound cool.
it's not. It's really
It
not.
sounds like he's farting.
It's not,
Sounds like
it's
it's
not
dying.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a Harley Davidson, right?
It's really not. No, I think it's like a
A
Huffy.
chainsaw. It's kind of like a chainsaw.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's like the loudest thing on the planet, and he just like rides it up and down the block like a cool kid.
Nice. Nice.
Like dun, dun, dun,
I-
as he's riding his
I
little
got a
bike.
guy in my neighborhood that has a tricycle, like one an old person would drive,
That's amazing.
but it's electric, and he zips up and down the street.
Well, no, and then like if that wasn't bad enough, there's like 2 DUI bikes on my street, and then like there's a
nice.
third guy who has like an old Camaro that he revs in. It's like really loud, and he'll wait until like 11 o'clock at night and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna rev it like 5 times and then shut it off." But he also doesn't have a license, so it's like, what are you
Nice.
doing, dude?
I don't know what it is, but the street next to my house, like the more busy street, has a bunch of trucks that are just super loud.
Oh,
and
like
they
mine.
always drive by at like midnight and stuff like that.
My truck is real loud.
But is it a cool truck?
Must confess it. It's an old truck, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it's cool.
No, it's not that old. It's a 2004.
Oh, well,
Old truck would be a 1950 Ford F1.
I agree.
Or an El
Yeah.
Camino. El
I
Caminos
don't
are
like
cool.
it. Yeah, but it's a Chevy.
Trucks are just the best.
If I had an El Camino, I'd want it to be a 450. If you know what, if you don't know anything, we have a 454 or 427 in it. Then it would be a cool El Camino. But I'm more of a Mustang kind of guy. So, or I used to own a Porsche, but I sold it. So. Okay, so we got that. So now we can use it, right? So we're going to go up and replace the motor one. So we're going to be able to get rid of, let's see, we're going to do motor up there. So I'm going to take the string off of this one and move it up here
Okay.
and declare it on this one. It's up above that other one. So each time I'm calling those down there, I'm sending down what I want the prompt to be, right? So the prompt is appropriate for what I'm doing down below. So this one's just going to say, valid double message. Set motor, that should be it. So now if I run it, that's bothered me that I don't have a. And then I could put A here, and of course it's going to say that. If I just put a 1 here, it will take it. Okay. No, so I'm not going to run all of them. But, so I know that works. No, it's right. Where was that at? Right here. So this is where you're using your valid double at. But see, now this puts the emphasis on the validity of the program on the person that's doing this part of the program versus just putting that on the person that built car or vehicle, okay? Because those people, the architect could have specified the criteria there versus, or the validations there versus having the last man on the totem pole do it. So we're kind of depending on that person to know what they're doing. So that should be your, the one program. The other program, I think, is the find the highest number in a matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to talk about that for a second here. What I want from you is a menu, and it will either bring up a 3x3 matrix or a 10x10 matrix, randomly generated. The person should not have to type any numbers in. Okay. And what you need to do in that matrix is find where the highest number, what is the highest number, and where is it located. Now, 2 ways you can do it. You can generate the matrix first and then go through it with a nested loop, because I want it to print out. If it's a 3x3, it should be 3 lines with 3 columns printed out. If it's a 10x10, it'll be 10 rows of 10 columns printed out. okay? So that we can look at the numbers, okay, to verify. You can't just say, oh, here it is. No, you have to print it out, and so we can check you or check the person that's saying that largest number. So 2 ways you can do it. You can do it post or pre. By that I mean, as you're generating it, the numbers, you can keep track of what's the highest number being generated, okay? As it loops. The default will be that the number at 0, 0 of your loop, of your array or 2-dimensional array, will be the highest number. So whatever the first number generated is, let's say it's 5, okay? And I want like 0 through 100, okay? So, but let's just say it's 5. So 5 is put in for 0, 0. So current maximum number is 5, and it's stored where? At 0, 0. Now the next step would be to generate another number for 0, 1, right? I'm in the inner loop. And let's say that that number is 3. Well, that isn't more than our maximum number, so it just puts the 3 in and keeps going. Then the next number, it'll be 0, 2. And let's say it's a 7. Well, then I need to replace that 5 that was the highest number with 7 and record that the highest number now is located at 0, 2. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so that's how you would do that one. And you go either you're going to go 9 numbers or have an array of 9 or an array of 100, right? 0 through 99 or whatever. The other way to do it is generate the numbers, okay? Print out your array or your matrix and then run that same scenario. You take the number that's at 0, 0, set it as your maximum, okay, and record 0, 0 as, and there'd be variables like, row and column, similar to just that, So then you record that first one. And then you start going through the array, checking every one. And when you find one that's higher, you replace the current max and you replace the row and column. It's not a hard program to write. That's why I didn't do it in class. Rita's going, yeah, right, that's easy for you to say.
It's easy to say, and I understand it when you say it, but I cannot visualize the code to do it.
Well, it's just it's a nested loop, right?
It's a nested loop, and I understand that you have to set the initial, like the very first number is what you're going to compare all other numbers to.
Well, no, until it changes.
Right, and then you replace it.
Right.
But that's what I can't figure out that code.
Well, all it'll be, so you have a variable called max number, let's say.
Right.
Going along, let's say the 0, 0 is a 5. Okay. So then you say, inside your loop, you say, if the number being generated is greater than my max number, then my max number is equal to the number being generated. Is it not?
If the new number is greater than the max number,
then the new number becomes the max number.
so no indexing? Well, you would need an index though for the location.
The location will be whenever that happens, underneath your new number becomes max number, you'll have a variable, say, call it saved row. And then you'll say, okay, row is equal to saved row. And then you'll say saved column. And you'll say, okay, column is equal to saved column. That's it. So it's just one little if statement inside the nested loop.
How do you initialize the max number?
It has to be outside the loop.
Right. But you wouldn't use your double brackets, your double square brackets to indicate that it's an array. You just say max number equals 0. Well, you have to initialize it to something.
You could make it whatever you -1.
But you don't want it. I thought you wanted to
You can put
initialize.
all 3 of those outside the loops. Okay? And then let me think. Put those 3 variables, declare them outside, and then you generate your first random number, and then underneath that you say if the array, whatever you call the array, is, let's call it numbers 0, 0, right? 0 row 0. Then put that into those 3 variables. Well, you can make the row and column 0. We know that's going to be the first one, right? You just don't know what the number is going to be for max. Right?
I guess I just don't know how to initialize your. I mean, I'm not just going to put a 0 there. It has to iterate through an array.
No, you can put a 0 through there because you know the first one is going to be the largest number because there's only been one number generated at that point. So you know what that's going to be. So all you need here, let me scroll down. I'm just going to put this out here so it's going to just scream at us. Here you have a for loop, and here you have a for loop, right?
Right.
This is going to be something like for row. I'm not going to make this real. So, and this is column. Out here somewhere, we've declared int. We don't know what that is right now, so I'm going to just make it is equal to a -1. Oh, and that's going to be good. That'll be good. And then int row is equal to 0. We know that. And int column is equal to 0. Okay. So first time through. So then we go into our loop. And we're just going to say we're going to get a number here. So we've declared random or whatever. So we'll say that what do I need to do here? A number is equal to RMD dot next int. What was that 100? Something to that effect, right?
Okay. That's building the matrix.
Okay. So then the next line is if is 0. Then oh, come on. Whatever. So if it's 0, 0, then x is equal to none. Keeps wanting to kick me over because I got a bunch of this can be row count. Maybe I don't even need that there. Hang on, this can come out of there.
Can you do the comma, or do you have to do 2 sets of brackets?
You gotta do 2 sets of brackets.
Row count or row column?
You're getting too good, Rita.
No, I don't. Clearly not.
So there's that. So that is a 0. So if it's that, max number is that. Else, if num is greater than max, give me a friggin' break. I'm doing this whole program, you know that, right?
We'll see.
And then this will be, if that's the then max is num. That. So that can't, they can't be named that. There you go.
She really roped you into that one.
Yeah, I know.
Row max. Column max. Mine was not quite that complex. Or
Oh, you already have it done?
no,
And you're saying mine's too complex?
well, I tried it 3 different ways, and I can build the 3x3 matrix and the 10x10 matrix, but nothing I've done, the 3 attempts I've made have produced the largest number. Keeps telling me 0 is my largest number.
Yeah, and that's probably not true.
Well, I mean,
Out of
based
100
on,
numbers.
yeah. So I mean, elements of this, but definitely not.
Okay, so that's my song and dance for today, guys. Woo! Thank
Woo.
Tell you what, why don't you guys stop in on Tuesday if you have any questions or that, or just to say bye or whatever. Don't forget that next Friday, a week from tomorrow, is the last day to turn anything in. Okay, I won't accept anything after that. So if you have any outstanding programs or whatever, make sure you have them in. All right?
Sounds good.
All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of the Rita. There we go.
We all benefited from that.
I bet they did. Oh, Darth. He's so handsome. Anyway, all right. So you guys have a great weekend. God bless. Stay out of trouble. Wear your mask or what. I still think Darth should walk around with that when he goes in places.
You know, I was actually thinking about it today.
You'd be the coolest kid wherever you go.
Like, here's the
Okay.
thing, though, is, like, I wouldn't be able to go with anybody because I think people would be too embarrassed to go with me because they don't have a helmet like mine.
That's
They'd be
right.
like, oh man, it's not as cool.
I mean, like,
She would
Like,
just
I'm-
use a lightsaber.
There's
I'm
gonna
seriously,
there's gonna be a run on show Rita how it pops down the mic.
oh yeah,
You're
just
still
like,
recording.
Look at that.
That's really cool.
and then like when Target still had them, like when the Mandalorian had just come out. Hold on. Got like this like little like Nerf gauntlet thing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was loaded.
I'm telling you, shoot up.
So, you know what? I'm a man child, but that's why I have cooler stuff.
That is true. I like your American flag, dude.
Thank you. I got a couple of them in here.
Sweet.
So,
All right. You notice he also has like 5 TV. How many? Wait a minute. How many screens you got in there?
how many what?
Screens. There's one behind you.
Yeah, so I have my TV behind me. My PC right here.
Yeah.
Got my laptop right here.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
Whoa, serious gamer.
Oh yeah.
Gamer vibes.
Multitasking.
All right, you guys. Have a
Bye,
great
Doug.
weekend, all right.
Thanks, Professor.
Same to you.
Bye, guys.
I'm off to Chipotle.
God bless.
Oh, have fun with
God
that.
bless you guys.